Space Force's accompanying launch and re-entry were largely unknown. Each astronaut had trained for years to overcome these dangers and others. Along the way, they also spent thousands of hours learning how to use the machines that would carry them into space, machines far more sophisticated and complex than any previously invented, machines designed by a cadre of visionary scientists and engineers, united by a dream of space travel, an insatiable curiosity, and the determination to make that dream come true. They all worked insanely long hours, often at the expense of their personal lives and relationships. Along with the 400,000 other men and women who actually built the machines, the astronauts devoted themselves to helping their country triumph against the communist threat. At stake was not just supremacy in space, but quite possibly America's survival as a democracy. They had not reached this point without major setbacks and great tragedies. Rockets exploded, systems malfunctioned, men died. The murder of a visionary president whose bold challenge had fired the program only reaffirmed their dedication to finishing the job. But in October 1957, still flying high just a dozen years after their victory in World War II, Americans had no idea how a small metallic ball with a radio transmitter would change the world. Part 1. Up. Chapter 1. Cossacks in Space. Our aim from the beginning was to reach infinite space. Major General Walter Dornberger, coordinator of Germany's V2 program. One Saturday morning in October 1957, a 14-year-old boy in the small farming town of Fremont, Iowa, woke up to find the world a different place. The Soviet Union had launched a beach ball-sized silver sphere into orbit around the Earth. They called it Sputnik, literally fellow traveler. The Russians, those steppe-riding, vodka-swilling Cossacks who were widely seen as a second-rate technological power, had beaten the United States into space. The boy's name was Steve Bales, and he was of average height with thick brown hair and glasses. His mother worked in a beauty parlor, and his father, who at the age of 39 had been drafted into the U.S. Army and served with the 102nd Infantry Division in World War II, owned a hardware store. Steve told his parents, his 3 younger brothers, and anyone else who'd listen, how angry he was that America hadn't launched a satellite first. He'd been interested in space ever since he was 10, when he and his father and brothers spent many a summer night sleeping outside on well-worn gray blankets in the field behind their house on the edge of town. As darkness fell, their dad would point out the Big Dipper, Cassiopeia, and other constellations, and nothing seemed as wonderful as the universe and its mysteries. That excitement spiked when the boy watched a 1955 Walt Disney TV special that featured an intense rocket scientist with a slight German accent describing how one day man would reach the moon. Now there was an artificial satellite, and it belonged to the Soviets, the enemy in this Cold War. But it was only a matter of time, the boy knew, before the United States would launch its own, and there would be more space exploration, and he wanted to be a part of it. Lyndon Johnson, Senate Majority Leader, was relaxing with some friends at his family ranch in the Texas Hill Country that Saturday, October 5, when he heard about Sputnik. After dinner, they took a walk down a dark road, and everyone looked up at the sky. In some new way, Johnson remembered, the sky seemed almost alien. He spent most of that evening calling aides and colleagues, mobilizing them to begin an inquiry into the nation's satellite and missile programs. Johnson knew more about this new frontier than any other elected official in Washington. He had been spearheading congressional hearings and inquiries into America's space programs since the late 1940s.